Welcome back to the ASVAB Domination Podcast. I am your host, Mickey Gaminol, and today I am joined by my colleague, Commander Taylor Scroggins. Captain Scroggins is currently the company commander for Bravo 1108. She also does work with the IPPW, which is responding to issues before they happened rather than after. Captain Scroggins, thanks so much. Welcome to the show.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. Scroggins was a very good friend of mine throughout my time in Bullock. And one thing that I will always remember was we went to the range. It was a range day, and I did not get my weapon rotted off the range, which is like a safety protocol. It was something that got in the wrong line or something like that. But I knew that I'd cleared my weapon a couple times. I checked, I made sure there was no ammo, but Lieutenant Scroggins was not to be deterred. She said, "Get your ass back in line." And it was great. It was actually really impressive because it was a good opportunity for me to just let safety standards slide. But you did exactly what commanders and people who are running a range should do, which is not take safety lightly. So I appreciate that. And I think it speaks to your leadership. I think it speaks to how you interact with soldiers as well as colleagues, right? Because at the time we were peers. So thanks for all you do.
Yeah, no problem. Glad I could keep you out of trouble.
You're right. Awesome. All right, perfect. So, thanks so much. To get started, I do want to ask about your personal ASVAB story. So, I know it was a few years back. If I'm not mistaken, you're ROTC, right? You're not a OCS, or are you OCS?
I am ROTC, but I was prior service enlisted before that.
That's
Sorry,
right.
ROTC. Did I say that? I think I said it backwards. Yes,
Prior
I was
service.
ROTC. However, I was also prior service. I joined straight out of high school.
Got you. Got you. Okay. And so, joining straight out of high school, do you remember your MOS? What you kind of got into the military as? Was it active, guard, reserve?
So I was a guards. I was a M-Day traditional guardsman, and I was 31 Bravo military police.
Okay. So, you joined as an MP fresh out of high school, and then you decided to switch over to ROTC. Is that correct?
Yes.
Perfect. So, did you have to take multiple ASVABs through that process, or did one score
No.
carry you? All right, perfect.
I was fortunate enough that I scored well enough on my first ASVAB that I took in high school. I never had to retake it.
Nice. Outstanding. Outstanding. What did you score, if you remember?
61, I think.
Okay,
So
61's
nothing
good.
too crazy, but it was enough. It was what I needed.
Right. Well, you're commanding soldiers now, right? So, like, it worked. It worked. It was a good enough score. So, that's great. Did you study, or did you just did you have like a good enough academic background that you could just go through?
Yeah, I didn't study. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I didn't study for it. Well, I don't even think I knew we were taking it that day. I think they just took us out of class and was like, "You're all gonna take this test now." And I was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah. I think that's the way most people first hear of the ASVAB. They're like, what is this all about? So you decided though to capitalize on it, right? So you took the ASVAB and you decided you'd use that score to start your career.
Yeah, so basically me and all my friends, we took it at the same time, obviously, because we didn't really have a choice. We're all around the same age and they kind of just snatched us up one day. We were all in junior ROTC. We had an Army junior ROTC at my school, which we were all really into. Like we were very competitive with that. And then when we got our ASVAB scores back, the recruiter, our local recruiter, was just like on a hunting spree to get as many of us as possible in one go. And she was very successful. So, like me, my two closest friends, my boyfriend at the time, now husband, like all of us were like, yeah, sign me up.
Wow. So it was four of you guys joined at the same time.
Yes.
Wow. That's like a
Five,
recruiter's
technically.
dream.
We actually had another friend, but he actually signed up before the rest of us. He'd already been through basic. He did the split one where he went through basic, came back, finished his senior year, and then went back for AIT. All the other four of us, we were later, so we all went at the end and did it all OSIT, one station unit training at once. And we
Oh,
all were MPs too.
whoa. That is something else.
Yes.
Were you guys assigned to the same unit?
Yes and no. So not all of us actually, unfortunately, made it through training.
Okay.
One did have to go home, and the other four of us, we did good, and we were all assigned to the same unit. They were actually sister units, so they were a little far apart from each other. But eventually, they closed down one of the armories and put us all in the same place. So we all ended up together.
Wow. I think that's the dream of a lot of people who join as well, is they get to stay with their friends. So that's great. That's really cool that it worked out. Okay, so real quick, split option for anybody who doesn't know, just like Captain Scroggins mentioned, it's going to be when that first summer you go to basic training, you finish your senior year in high school, and then after you finish your senior year, you go through and do AIT. But you were OSUT, which is one duty station throughout. So basic training merges into AIT halfway through, and then you're good to go. Is that all correct?
Yep. One station unit training. Basically, you go through all of basic. You go to sleep. You wake up. They're like, "Congratulations, you're in AIT now," and you just keep rolling. Like there's nothing special. You don't get to go home. Like it's they don't treat you any differently. At least not for us. I heard some people they get treated a lot nicer the second half. That didn't happen for us, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like MP is a really popular MOS. It's probably one of the more common MOSs. What was your MP experience like? How'd you come by it?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So, actually, when I got my ASVAB scores back and the recruiter was like, "You did so good," I'm like, "Did I? Or are you just saying that?" She was like, "You should totally be an MP. You remind me a lot of myself." And I'm like, "I'm not buying it, lady. I'd like to see a full printout list of every single job I qualify for."
I love that. No, that's something that my students don't do. ASVAB students don't even think like, what could I do? They just go
No,
with whatever they can get, especially at
right?
that age, at 18.
Yeah.
So you wanted the list. So you got a
I,
list and you
yeah,
did.
she printed it for me, and I like went through with a highlighter and a marker, and I was like, "Not that. Oh, that sounds terrible. Does this involve math? I'm not doing that." And, like I was just like going through the whole list, and I weirdly enough, I think I did land on like two or three things, and all my other friends were like military police,
Hmm.
and I was like, "No, it did make like the top three. Yeah, fine, I'll be a military police." It's kind of how I landed on it. I was like, "Sounds good enough," because like, yeah, you want to kick in doors and shoot pistols and all this stuff, and they try to make it sound like really cool. It was not that cool, I promise. Uh, maybe if you got to get like the special identifier where you get to work with dogs or something, but they don't even have that in the guard, I'm pretty sure. So at least not in ours.
Mhm.
So it's not even an option. You don't even get like to work with the dogs or nothing. But it wasn't bad. Basic, it's a little rough, like everybody else's. Like I did get thrown down some stairs at one point, but that's fine. I
Oof.
survived.
Oof. Yeah.
Uh, like there's good times and bad times, but you make it through. It's not so bad. I feel like a lot of it for some people is just mental and they can't really get their head around it. But like you're gonna make it through. It's just a couple of months. Calm down.
Yeah.
It's okay. Don't cry, because several people cried. Just a lot. Like I remember, like just seeing grown men just bawling
Hmm.
with like a 4 foot tall Puerto Rican woman yelling at them, standing on a chair, knife handing down at them from the chair because they were too short and they wanted to be above them. I have a theory that the angriest women are often the shortest. Uh,
I could see that. I could see
but
that.
yeah, it wasn't so bad. It was nice. The training was all right. I liked it when we got into like the specific AIT type stuff where we were focused more on our jobs. I really enjoyed the pistol as a weapon. I was pretty good at shooting it, better than my rifle anyway. Uh, so
Nice.
I enjoyed that. And but actually being an MP in the guard, it wasn't really what I hoped it would be. Getting sprayed and tased isn't fun. I'll tell you that right now. If you're ever running from the police, just stop. If they threaten to spray you, it's not worth it. Go to jail. That's some of the worst physical pain I've ever experienced.
Jeez. Yeah, that is a little more intense. I know in the water units we don't really deal with a lot of spray or tasing 9 times out of 10. But you do get tased at MPs. Is it an
Yeah.
annual thing in the National Guard or is it
It's
what?
not annual unless you're an instructor. If you want to be an instructor, they have to tase you every year to keep your certification,
Oof.
which makes no sense to me. I'm like, you're not forgetting. I
Yeah,
didn't forget what it was like to get shot with hooks that electrocuted me.
you still got a pretty good recollection, even though it's been a while. You remember how it played out.
I literally would carry my certification in my wallet everywhere I went that said I had been tased and sprayed because they would be like, "Oh, hey, you never got sprayed, right?" And I'd be like, "Yes, I did." Like, "Can you prove it?" Like, "Yes, I can."
Nice. You got to keep the paperwork on you. That's right. That's right.
Like, "You're not getting me, mister."
Oh shoot. No, that's good. Good deal.
Yeah.
So, how long were you enlisted before switching over to ROTC?
Well, technically, like I was in the simultaneous membership program as a SMP cadet. So I didn't like stop being with like the MPs and drilling with them. Technically, once you enroll in ROTC, your MOS code changes to a oh 09 Romeo.
Mhm.
But like I was still there, I was still doing things. So I was with them from 2014 up until I graduated in 2020.
And did you have like the dot, or were you still enlisted? Like, what was the rank that you were
So
wearing?
once you join ROTC in the simultaneous membership program, when you go to drill, you don't wear your rank anymore. You do wear the PIP,
Hmm.
and you get paid as an E5.
Gotcha. Okay. And did you ever rank up to E5, or was that kind of a promotion?
So I was a specialist when I joined ROTC. I was eligible to go to get my E5, but I joined ROTC instead, so didn't
Yeah.
never went to that training.
But the pay still evened out, at least because you were still technically getting paid E5 status. So that's good. Cool. Awesome. Is there anything you would have done differently through those transitions? Is there anything you would have switched?
No, I feel like I'm pretty happy with the choices I made. Like maybe I would have gone ahead and gotten my E5 or something before that. I don't know the specific details, but I know I like just barely missed something to where when I commissioned, instead of being an O1E, you being enlisted, I was just a
Mm,
regular O1, and I was told at the time it was because I never made my E5. But I had
gotcha.
other people that were like, that's not true, but I don't know. I've never really looked into it that much. So maybe I would have done that because then I would have got some extra pay
Yeah.
from O1 to O3 because you'd have that little E identifier at the end of your rank.
Yeah, prior service enlisted, you're gonna make more. But you still counted, like I'm sure you had good years during those times before
Yeah.
going into, before jumping into the cadet program. So that's good. It's a good experience. So, did you do state OCS or did you do federal OCS
And I was
after?
ROTC.
Oh, ROTC. Okay, cool. So you went to camp, right?
Advanced camp, yes.
Advanced camp. I haven't really had that many ROTC guests on. Can you tell us a little bit about that transition? Because I've talked to people about federal OCS as well as state OCS, but what was the ROTC timeline kind of like?
Sure. So, if you are like me and you're a simultaneous in the simultaneous membership program, you are allowed to skip the first 2 years of ROTC. And you can go straight from instead of being like a gosh, what do they call it? It's been so long. I don't know, but instead of being
Trainee?
like a level one, no, it's called like I'm weirdly enough, I just said it's been so long, but I'm remembering what they call it from junior ROTC and not from actual ROTC, and I can't remember right now.
No worries, no worries. But it's the different pips, right? It's 1 to 3, if I'm not mistaken. Okay,
Yeah,
okay. Okay.
yeah. So it's actually it's really weird. So, but anyway, so you got like your year ones, twos, threes, and fours.
Okay.
And so you can skip the first 2 years. The first 2 years for normal students, it's really basic stuff, basic information. You don't have to be contracted at that point. Like if you're still deciding or whatever, the first 2 years are like a free trial, basically, to see
Okay.
if you want to keep doing it with no commitments. But to be in years 3 or 4, you have to have a contract in place that says, okay, I like this, I'm doing this, I'm commissioning, I'm joining the army. Here we are. So we're allowed to skip that. Personally, I only chose to skip my first year because I'm a cautious person, and I was like, I'm worried. What if it's hard? What if I'm no good at it? Like,
Hmm. Well,
yeah,
I've heard horror stories about ROTC, monthly trainings. They can be pretty intense from what I've heard.
yeah. I mean, it wasn't as bad. I was definitely overthinking it, to be honest, which is a problem I've worked on my whole life is overthinking things. But I was scared because your third year is the year that summer you go to advanced camp, and I was like, oh, what if it's awful? What if I'm
Hmm.
not ready? So I only skipped my first year of ROTC, and I did 3 years of it. So I
Okay.
started as a MS2.
Ah.
Maybe that's what it was called. Anyway, I was started as a two. It was good. You went to like a regular class twice a week, and then you had an additional lab as well. And the lab was basically doing field training exercises in the evenings. Ours was on Thursdays, and you'd put on like full kit. You'd go do map reading, land navigation. You'd run sticks lanes with your little rifles. You'd practice leading squads and platoons, things of that nature, all kinds of stuff like that. So your 3 years, you're really like culminating event. That's you getting ready to go to camp. Camp is the big thing. So a lot of these guys and gals that are in RTC, not all of them are like me. Not all of them were prior service. Some of them were just kids off the street They were like, I want to be an officer. And, they come in and they do the training and, good for you. But they never have to go through basic or anything like that.
Hmm.
It's not mandatory. ROTC, they don't make you do that. You have an option. You can if you want to. I don't know who in their right mind would be like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I'll volunteer as tribute. I know one person that did that one,
Chose for
but
basic. Chose for
that
basic when
chose
they
to
didn't
go to
have
bed. They
to.
were like, I want to know what it's like. And I'm like, more power to you. That's actually really good. I'm actually really proud of you for choosing that. I'm glad
Yeah,
most people wouldn't.
right. Well, they
Like,
probably begin every meeting they have in the army talking about their time at basic from that point forward. So, you get the bragging rights, but yeah, I wouldn't choose to do basic again under
I'm
any
just volunteer
circumstance.
out of nowhere now.
No, no, not if there's another choice. Okay. So you get ready. You have the culminating event, which is going to be advanced camp after your anywhere from, well, 4 years total, but it could
Usually.
be deducted by two if you're prior service.
Yes.
Okay. And then what is advanced camp? So what does that look like?
Sure. So, advanced camp, I think it was like 2 months, if I remember correctly, around that. It was the summer
Okay.
because you were back in time for school. You go there. It's at, what's that? Knox. It's at Fort Knox.
Okay.
Half of the time there, you're literally in the woods doing an FTX, which really sucked because like it was like almost a whole month of just being in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
You're really dirty. It wasn't hard. It was not hard. It was basically a freaking cakewalk to me
Okay.
personally because like I had already been through basic and stuff. Like I already knew most of this stuff. But I did see other people struggle. I did see some other people fail because they were not prior service and their ROTC programs failed them, in my own opinion. Like they did not adequately prepare them for what they were supposed to be doing. It was a lot of the similar tasks that you would do at basic, with the main difference being you don't have drill sergeants screaming at you, and that you're not held to like that same standard of everything must be absolutely perfect constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not getting yelled at all the time. You have your phone with you. You're not supposed to be using it like all the time or anything, but you do have it. No
Right.
one's
That's
taking that
huge.
away from you.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
That,
you're not isolated. They don't take your underwear away from you and say, "Hey, you have to wear granny panties now because you're not allowed to be an individual."
yeah. Or mandatory haircuts. Do they make you cut your hair in the woods? Probably not, right? You're probably good for the four
Not
weeks.
while when they came out, they had to get them cut again for graduation.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you
That's
know,
fair. It's not too bad.
they weren't shaving them bald. No,
It
they were
wasn't
allowed to have high and tights.
not cue ball fades. That's
Yeah.
good. Good deal.
But yeah, it's not bad. Like you throw hand grenades just like you do at basic. You go to the range. You have to do call for fire, which is hard for some people. One of the cadets at my school actually failed that and had to leave the program.
Washed
Uh,
out. How many people wash out? That's my question. How many people get kicked back?
Not that many,
It,
honestly. I feel like a good bit of people. I don't know what the pass rate is, but I saw very few fail the training. And if you do fail, you're allowed a second chance. You can come back your year four summer, but if you don't make it that time, you're dismissed from the program and you will not commission.
that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, at least they give you two shots. Anybody can make a mistake on a call for fire, I think, because it's danger close and it's math, and you if you're stressed out enough, like I really struggled with land navigation, even at Bullock and at OCS especially. But anybody can make these mistakes, like that can happen once
Absolutely.
or twice. So it's good that they get the second shot. But you did not. You passed first time go, and you felt like it was pretty easy, so that's great. And then it's a graduation at the end, and you commission on the spot.
No. No. So that's your year three summer. So once you finish, you go back to your program, and now instead of like all the focus is on you and you're doing all this training, now you are giving the training. You are doing the
Mm,
focus. You are leading and running the program. You form a staff. One of you is going to be the battalion commander, an XO, S1, 2. You're going to have a whole staff. And you guys now run that ROTC program and you train the threes to get ready to go to camp.
And you make sure that you don't fail those guys, because that's what you saw. The people who really struggled were the ones that were failed by their ROTC programs when they went to camp.
Yeah,
Correct?
I had someone literally like pull out an MRE and ask me how to use it.
Ooh, yeah, that's not great.
And I was like, "How did you make it this far?"
Oh, geez. Yeah, I mean, I've seen a wide range of ROTC. I mean, I've seen a wide range of officers. If you spend enough time in the Army, you're gonna see high speeds, low speeds, and like backward speed sometimes. You're gonna see all the range. So I would imagine that there's some of that over there at ROTC as well. But yeah, you want to at least prepare your troops for when they go to that advanced camp. I could see that.
Yeah, to be clear, that was a good individual. They were just failed by their program. I'm
Hmm.
not knocking them as a person. I'm knocking their program for not adequately preparing them to the point to where they did not know how to pack a rucksack or how to heat up an MRE.
Right. Right. That seems like a
Basics.
baseline
That's
skill.
like day one.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. Okay, cool. So, all right, and then from advanced camp, you finish out. You can't commission until you get your degree. So that makes sense. You get your 4-year degree. Now you commission.
Yep.
Any ceremony or anything like that? Just graduation commission type thing.
Oh no, there's a ceremony. We didn't really get to have ours because it was 2020. Yay,
Yep.
COVID. Yeah, so typically there's a ceremony. You put on your dress blues or your pinks and greens, whatever you guys are planning on, and there's a nice flag in the background, and you get your first salute. During the ceremony, typically you pick an NCO that you want to be your first salute, and you have a coin that you give them when they salute during the handshake. You typically pass off a, silver dollar to them or a half dollar or something. I
Okay.
don't remember, but you pass off a coin to them when you get your salute. Personally, I had chosen my grandfather to give me my first salute, as we are the only two military members in my family.
How'd your grandfather take it? How'd
He
it
was
go?
ecstatic. He was so excited that I picked him. He had me take him to Camp Shelby to get a brand new uniform. He stopped everyone on the way to tell them that his granddaughter was going to be the first officer in the family, and he was so excited. Unfortunately, he did pass away before I commissioned,
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
but he was thrilled and he was very excited for that.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
I mean,
remember it all the time.
yeah, no, it's wonderful that you got to share something so impactful. You got to share something that was such a big deal to him. But yeah, I'm very sorry for your loss. Okay, so you commissioned, you have now your rank, and then you get assigned to a unit, and then you act as PL moving forward, right?
Usually, yes.
Okay. What happened with you?
We have a severe lack
COVID.
of officers in the Mississippi National Guard, so I was the XO immediately, and it was just me and the commander.
Congratulations, promotion to XO from graduation day to XO.
Yep, day one.
Wow, that's awesome.
It was
So,
rough.
yeah, well, it's a lot. It's a lot to carry. That's a lot to carry off the bat. I can't imagine. My PL time was really important, like super formative in figuring out how to deal with stuff. I mean, lucky for you, your prior service. I'd imagine somebody who's got no background in military other than advanced camp going into an XO slot would be really tough. So,
I'm sure.
but I'm not that it was a cakewalk for you either. XO is responsible for everything. It's basically like commander without any credit, is in my experience. How was it for you?
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of work because like anytime they needed an officer for anything, it's like, well, you're it. Like, because I was the only one there, right? So I was basically all the platoon leaders. I had a really good commander, though. Like, when I was trying to figure out where I was going to go, I actually picked where I was going because I'd heard such good things about that commander. And I called her and I was like, hi, my name is Cadet Scroggins. I'm about to commission. I've heard such good things about you and your leadership. And I was wondering if you needed an officer because I would very much like to learn from you. And she was very flattered and she was like, of course, we really need help. Please come.
Awesome. Well, and then I'm sure your OERs are like kick ass from that point forward, right? Like
Yes,
you.
but fun fact, because of COVID, I don't know if you know this, my I couldn't go to Bullock until like a year later.
Mhm.
So like I'd been and you can't have OERs written until
So
you've
you're
completed Bullock. So I had like a whole year of like unrated time just doing all that work.
doing XO work.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that stings. Yeah, usually it's just going to be PL work, which can kind of like it's not like you're going to have an amazing OER from your PL. You might get something decent, but if you were the only other officer besides your raider, you probably would have gained a lot. But that's okay. Okay, so you went through and then you couldn't go to Bullock due to COVID, and then you go to Bullock. You make sure that everybody's following range safety protocol throughout your
Of
time at
course.
Bullock. And you were very helpful. You were actually, I remember specifically, and I still ask you occasionally, how do I program the radio? Because you knew these things. You actually had a lot of background in that avenue. So I remember you teaching briefings on that kind of stuff.
Do you remember the song I taught you? I'm gonna need you to sing it.
The song goes something. I just remember that's how you program the radio. And I know there's a stow before that, but there's
Yes,
probably
it
like
was.
four other buttons. There's four other buttons after before stow. Yes, exactly. You got the whole unit to sing it too. Like
Yeah, I
all of us
remember
were
I had
singing.
everyone singing. I'm like, all right, let's go. We got where you're gonna remember this.
Yeah, and it worked, but it didn't work for me. I just don't program radios very often, but I do know someone who does, so that's probably why I forgot. Is I figure, oh, I'll just call Scroggins and figure it out. What is the song? Go ahead. What is it?
Gosh, okay. So it goes frequency clear, numbers stow. That's how you load a radio.
Got you. Okay, frequency clear, numbers, stow.
Stow.
That's how you clear the radio.
Load.
Load. That's how you load the radio,
That's
and
how
that's
you
how
load
you
the
load
radio.
because it's the numbers are the frequency.
Yes. When you say
Frequency is a
numbers,
button.
that is you typing in whatever the frequency is. So you hit the
Okay.
frequency button, clear, type in the frequency, hit the stow button, and you just loaded your radio. I
Got
hope
you.
this helps somebody out there who
Yeah.
still can't figure it out.
I mean, it won't hurt. It won't hurt. And that's great. That's great. Okay, so from what I can tell, and now you're going into command time. So what can you tell me just like as a fast forward from Bullock into where you are now? What did that timeline look like? I think it's been probably 3 years, 3, 4 years now.
Yeah, close to four years, I would say,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay,
Because
so
we
you're past four
graduated in like
years.
21, right?
I think so, yeah. 2021.
Okay, so what happened between then? Let's see. So came back from Bullock and I went back to the same unit. I was there for another year, and then we managed to get more lieutenants. And then my commander, my new commander, was like, "Scroggins, I don't need you anymore. We have more lieutenants. I'm gonna send you away." I was like, "What did I do? You're getting rid of me?" And he was like, "No, but you need more experience than what we can give you at this point, so we're sending you to an FSC." And I was like, "I've heard those are bad places."
Yeah, forward support company, right?
Yeah, it's a
They're
foreign
pretty
support
intense.
company. I was like, "Don't you guys hate them? And you call them like the redheaded stepchildren, and you never include them in anything, and you forget about the people you send there? This sounds like a punishment, sir." And he was like, "No, no, no, it'll be great training. I won't forget about you. We're sending your other lieutenant out there too, to a different one." I'm like, "You're splitting us up too?"
Wow. Yeah.
He's like, "You're gonna get great training. It's gonna be great. And then we'll bring you back." I'm like, "You better not forget about me." He's like, "I will not forget about you. I'll bring you back. We'll probably have somewhere for you on staff by then. It'll be great. I promise." So I got sent out to a forward support company where I was again the only lieutenant.
Oof. Dang. Okay. Well, at least it's not new anymore. You've been through this.
This time they put me in a PL slot, but made me act as the XO.
Hey.
So
Okay. Even
because
less
because there
credit for
was
even more work.
there was someone else in the XO slot, but that person was doing contract work in Kuwait, so they were obviously not showing up to drill. So it was just me. And we got a brand new commander, and I was there 1 month before the new commander got there, and that went well. We were supporting the engineers,
Okay.
uh, did great at that. It was a good time. And then I was yoinked out of there for a deployment to Germany.
Okay. And that was can you tell me a little bit about if you volunteered for it or how that was selected?
Sure. So they needed another logistic. They needed another logistics officer. I was a quartermaster at the time. I think they were originally going to take my commander, but he had less than 12 months in command time. So I'm next up.
Mm.
So they took me out, and I was considered involved for that because I was taken out of my unit. My unit wasn't deploying. I
Mm.
deployed with another unit, and it was good. I was gone for basically a year because we started our train up that October, and I made it in country in December. So I missed like Christmas and everything,
Dang.
and then I didn't get back home until October of the next year.
Right before the next set of holidays.
Hmm.
Gotcha.
But
Eh,
yeah, we were there with JMTGU, which is the mission to train the Ukrainians.
Okay.
It used to take place in Ukraine, but obviously they're a little busy at the moment, so that training now takes place in Germany, or it did at the time. So that's why we were there.
Okay. So you're just helping to train up allied forces, help to train up Ukraine for combat arms type stuff, or probably logistics stuff as well, all sorts of stuff.
Well, the training was mostly not with me. Like I was there as the logistics. So like I wasn't specifically with those guys like, "Hey guys, here's stuff."
Right.
No, like I was just making sure everybody had what they needed like a good logistics officer. I was in the SPO cell support operations.
Got you. Were you
But
the
overall,
UMO, Unit Movement Officer?
no, thank goodness.
Okay, okay, cool. And so you go on the deployment and then you come back and now then you get the command slot. Is that all correct?
Sort of. So I got promoted to captain on paper while I was there. I actually had my promotion ceremony and everything when I got home, and I returned back to the 106th BSB in their S3 cell. I don't know what you call it. I was like, I wasn't the assistant there. I was like a plans officer or something. And I say or something because I only held that position for a couple of months.
Hmm.
Because honestly, all right, so let me back up a little bit. Someone reached out to me and was like, "Hey, Scroggins, would you like to be a TAC officer?" And I was like, "That sounds awesome. I've always wanted to be a TAC officer. Golly gee, sure, I'll think about it." And because I'm like, I'm in a nothing position right now. Like, don't get me wrong, helping the three shop's very important, but it's not KD, it's not key development. It doesn't count. It doesn't give you points towards promotion. Like, it's just the knowledge and experience you gain there. Nothing on paper really cool.
Gotcha.
This is partially my opinion. It's partially fact. But anyway, so I have a binder for my career progression where I have like the 100-6 or whatever it's called printed out, and it shows all the key development positions for my state, all of the, gosh, what's that other one called? Broadening assignments. It's got everything printed
Mm.
out that you can get points for per promotion, and I have highlighted in there jobs I want that I think I'd be interested in that fall into my MOS, things like that. And I have a timeline of when I would like to do these things.
Wow.
So
I love
I
it. I
know.
love, well, the intentionality, like your common theme, like you're either going in the direction you want or you're being pulled into another direction. But at least the direction you want is always top of mind. I feel like, something that I can do better in all my careers and all facets of life is that intentionality. So it's pretty cool that you not only like when you took your ASVAB, you looked at every single job. And now that you're an officer, usually people would like kick their feet up and be like, well, S3 shop, great. I'll work on current ops, future ops, whatever. But for you, you have like 10 different things that you'd rather be doing. And so when an opportunity falls into your lap, you know whether that's aligned with your mission or not. So I think that's actually that's a really powerful frame because you're driving your own ship. You're deciding where to go. So I think it's awesome. So they offered you a TAC position, which was a broadening assignment that was listed in your binder that you had already previously approved of. And then did you get to?
Didn't
No,
do it.
no, didn't work out.
Like I thought about it really hard. And I brought my binder and I scheduled a meeting with my new battalion commander that I had like literally never met, but like maybe twice in passing. Like I didn't really know the guy. He came into command while I was deployed.
Mhm.
So I was like, "Sir, can I talk to you about my future?" And he was like, "Sure, come and step in." I'm like, "Okay." And so I come in with my little binder and I open it up and I'm like, "So this is this, and I got this call and they wanted me to come be a TAC officer." And he was like, and this is one of the smartest men I've ever met in my life, okay? This is one of the most squared away logisticians I've ever seen. He's so smart. Like I don't consider myself stupid, but in his presence, I feel like a Neanderthal, okay? Like I've seen the man see that I don't understand something, and he would like whip out a dry erase marker and like make diagrams for me until I get it. Like
Nice.
he's super smart. But anyway, I'm sitting there. I'm like, "So what do you think?" And he's like, "Yeah, okay, you know, you don't need to be a TAC officer. You go over there, you go over to the RTI. We forget about you. We don't promote you. That doesn't help you. That's a nothing position. Like, don't get me wrong, it's great. People should have TAC officers. You shouldn't be a TAC officer."
Nice.
He was like, you need to be a commander or you need to be primary staff. And I'm like, "Sir, I couldn't agree more. However, to my knowledge, none of those positions are open right now." And he was like, "Okay, hold on." And then he steps into the hallway and yells to one of my coworkers down the hall. He goes, "Hey, such and such, you're fired." And then he steps back in and goes, "You want to be the S4?"
Wow.
And I was like, "Yes, sir, thank you."
Dang.
In that other guy's defense, he'd already been the S4 for like 2 years, and he really wanted to leave. Like he was due time to go. It wasn't like he was doing a bad job or anything. He was actually on my deployment with me, and he was the 4 while we were deployed.
Got
He'd
you.
had enough. So he made me the S4, and I did that for like 2 months. And I actually did it through all of AT, which was like, your big event, and
Hmm.
did really well at it and all that. But while I was at AT, my commander comes back to me. He's like, Scroggins, I've been talking to my friend, Colonel such and such. He needs a commander for one of his companies. Would you be interested in that?
Nice.
And I was like, yes, sir.
There you go.
Because you don't say no.
Right.
You're never like, but I kind of like this job. You're like, no, that's a great idea. I'd love to go.
You were just starting to get your feet wet with S4, but that's totally fine. See,
Yeah.
but when you have a plan like that, when you go into someone's office who has direct control over your future and you say this is the future that I want, if they disagree with you, at least you know it's with your best interest. You know, they see what you are looking to do and all they're going to try to do is to help you fast track that. And so that's great. I mean, going from a S3 shop where you can kind of kick back, like a laid back staff shop to running the S4 to command time doesn't happen in 6 months. That doesn't
Not
happen in six
usually.
months unless you know somebody. And you did the groundwork. You explained to someone, you explained to the BC, and BC, I get exactly what you're saying. BCs are learned people, right? These are people who have competed for their position. Not only do they have the education background, they're also squared away militarily because you don't just run an entire battalion by chance. That's not something that
Right.
happens accidentally. It happens similar to you. You came in with a plan. I wanted these four things or these other two things, and they said, "No, you don't. This might be good for you." And you went with that, and then sure enough, something even better happened. So that's awesome. That's a really cool story. I think it really speaks to the power of intention.
Like even like during that AT period, my BC was like, hey, did you reach out to the Colonel such and such yet?" I'm like, "I did, sir. He said he'd like to meet me." He was like, "Okay, you know what? We're not doing much tomorrow. Send such and such to your meeting and go meet with him." And I'm like, "It's like an hour away." He's like, "It's fine." So I literally like drove an hour away during AT, met with
Nice.
this other colonel and had an interview. He was like, "So your commander tells me that as soon as you got back from your deployment, you went into his office and asked him for a hard job? Why would you do that?" And I was like, I did do that now that you mention it.
Nice. I mean, great. It played out right. So now you're getting ready. You're going to be taking command. We spoke briefly, but you're going to be commanding the wheeled vehicles, but they're somewhat wheeled vehicles. Can you explain what that was? It's
Yeah.
not a wheeled vehicle unit. What was it again?
So it's a maintenance company, but they're the maintenance for the wheeled vehicles
Mhm.
for an aviation group.
Got you.
So like we're the only ones that do stuff on the ground. Everybody else is all flying around and whatnots.
Okay, so the wheeled vehicles for the aviation, that's going to
Yes.
be like they tug the planes, like plane movers, or what would it
No,
be?
it's mostly just like your regular vehicles, like because they can't fly everywhere, so it's like Humvees and whatnot. It's just like
Okay,
regular. It's
okay.
like they're not taking the helicopter like down the street, so it's just their normal fleet of vehicles.
Got you. Okay, okay. So as an aviation unit, you don't want to just be stuck flying your airplane to wherever. That makes sense. I get it.
Right. But
Okay.
I hear we get looked down on because like we're not aviators or whatever, and I'm like, okay, big talking, so you can't get over there. You're
Yeah,
not
that's
gonna, you
fair.
can't take your helicopter to Camp Shelby, can you?
Oh shoot. Cool. Okay, so and then you're gonna be the commander for that logistics. But you don't have a staff again, right? Again, you're back to being the only officer for the unit. Is that correct?
Unfortunately, yes, we are understaffed. We have no officers except me at this time. So there's no platoon leaders, there's no warrants, nothing. We're even supposed to, so we have medics with us as well, and we're supposed to have like a physician's assistant. Nope.
It's
Very
unfortunate.
understaffed.
Okay. But I would bet that coming in as a commander, you're probably going to get a lot more respect because one, your prior service, and two, you've been on a deployment. I feel like those are some key pieces that if you're commanding troops, it's something that they kind of look for.
sure it'll help. I mean, I don't know, since I have no experience in aviation, I'm still learning a lot. Like that they don't even call it a battalion. I'm like, hey, what about battalion? They're like, battalion? No, we're group. I'm like, you're group, and they're like, yeah, that's what the G stands for. In TASM G. I'm like, oh, okay. So wait, is he? So we don't call him battalion commander? He's group commander. They're like, yeah, you're getting it. I'm like, oh, gosh.
Cool. Well, no, that's great. I mean, it's really cool. One thing I did want to mention is your logistics at AT. So I know besides going to and from your interview, you had a really good annual training as the S4. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So, we were learning at drills before that. We had a drill before that. They brought us in for with some additional days, and the staff got together along with the Special Operations Officer, Support Operations Officer, sorry.
Okay.
And we had training on the military decision making process, MDMP, which is like a dirty word to most people who hear it. Everyone hates it. No one likes it. There's lots of books about it. People complain, moan, and groan every time you mention it. I was very excited to find out why, because I'd never done it.
Okay.
They're like, "What do you know about MDMP?" I'm like, "I heard it sucks."
Right. And so this is the decision-making process that
Yes.
military follows. Okay.
Yes.
So you had that start prior to AT. So you guys
Hmm.
had basically a
A
plan for
mock
making
session.
decisions. Okay, okay, gotcha.
So like they gave us a fake mission and we're like, "All right, use the military decision making process and figure out what to do." I'm like, and we never even finished it because like we ran out of time. But I digress. So we started learning about the MDMP. We get to AT. We are short staffed. It's a common theme. Most of the staff is brand new. A lot of them weren't even at the training. So it's me, brand new S4. First AT is S4. We have the S2, your intel officer. He is brand new. He hasn't even been to Bolic yet. He's not even qualified, but he's there. Bless his heart. He's there. He's ready. We got our S6. This is her first AT with us, brand new.
Whoa.
We have the S1. This is her first AT,
Jeez.
brand new.
Wow.
We got the S3. This is his first AT with us,
It's all brand
brand
new
new.
staff.
Yes,
Wow.
and he's on orders because the original S3 got pulled out for a deployment. He volunteered to go on a deployment. He's gone. So this guy, he's he knows his stuff, but this is his first time, being with. This is all of our first time being together at all. This is all of our first AT in these positions, and for most of us, it's our first time ever being on a staff. The only captains even on the staff is me and the three,
Okay.
and I was just the three's like assistant basically a couple of months ago.
And now you're representing S4.
Right. So it's just us. And one day, the commander comes in, and the XO comes in, and he's like, "We have a problem. We need you guys to fix it, and you're gonna use the military decision-making process to do it."
Okay.
And we're like, "Okay, what's the problem?" And we're like, fingers crossed, hoping it's like a fictional problem, and they just want us to get some like good training out of it. But no, it was a real problem, and they really wanted us to solve it.
Okay.
And the S3, and if you don't know about military decision making process and staff and whatnot, the 3 typically runs the show. That's typically their thing. He
Okay.
had to leave.
Oh, okay.
The one had to leave.
Oh,
Both of them left like within the first few days. So it was me, the S2, who has never been to Bolic, and the S6, who deals in radios and whatnot. I got these two
wow.
guys, and it's just the 3 of us. And we have to solve the problem. The problem that we are presented has come straight from the tag. All right, the tag put out this problem, the Adjutant General of Mississippi, the main guy in charge of the National Guard for the whole state. He's like,
Jeez.
"We have a problem." And
Okay.
then my boss was like, "That is a problem. Let me tell my
Let me
staff.
get my best people on it.
Let me grab a couple LTs and a captain and let them know what's up. See what they come up with."
Okay.
So
So how did
obvious,
it go down?
yeah, it's great, great start. The problem was the OR rate.
Okay.
For the 155. OR rate is your operational readiness rate, which I'm sure you already know as a logistician yourself.
Yeah.
So, but for anyone who doesn't, operational readiness. So that's like how much of your equipment is up, which means it's running and it's working, and how much of it is down, which means it's not working and you can't use it.
Hmm.
So our OR rate was garbage. And then we were like, how do we fix the OR rate for this brigade? The biggest brigade, mind you, in our entire state. Like our state is basically run off of this brigade.
Whoa.
And they're like, how do we fix it? And I'm like, Okay, how do we fix it? And then I have to explain to the intel officer and the signal officer, like, everything because they're not
Right.
logisticians. They
They
don't
haven't
know
heard
what no
about
R8
OR. They
is.
don't know Circle X. They don't know any of this
I'm pulling
jargon.
up ESRs and they're like, what is
Yeah. Yeah,
that?
there's codes. Parts are on the way, parts are in the shop, parts are receipt. Yeah, there's a lot of
It's so
background
much.
knowledge. Yeah, you're a
I'm like,
maintenance
I
officer.
barely know this. I don't expect you to.
Right. If they haven't been to Bullock and yeah. Okay, okay. So how did it shake out? It's just you three
It's
trying to
just
come
three
to a
of us.
solution.
And that's on top of me still doing all my S4 stuff too.
Right.
So like I also have meetings constantly, and I'm like, you guys hold down the fort until I get back. And I hold on, I gotta find some porta potties real quick. I'll be right back. Or hold on, the commander wants to know what we're having for chow tonight, and I haven't looked at the menu. I'll be right back. And bless them by the end of it, those two lieutenants were like, I don't want to be a logistics officer.
Yeah.
This is awful. Why did you pick that?
Mm-hmm.
I digress. But anyway, so we go through the whole military decision making process, all seven, 8 steps, whatever the heck it is. I don't even remember at this point. We we'd refuse to make a PowerPoint presentation because we know that our commander doesn't care for that. He's a very bottom line up front man. Give him the facts and get on with your day. He does not want fluff.
Okay.
I have really crappy handwriting, so I let the S6 rewrite everything that I said. I was like, just write this down and write it down the way I say it. So she's up there writing really neat on a whiteboard. We present our plan to our two plans because
You want
when
two
you do
courses of action.
MDMP, you need at least two COAs. Typically, you want three, but we made two. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Be mad. So we show him our two COAs. He's like sitting there and he's like, all right, I like it. Be prepared. I'm gonna bring in the Joint Chief of Staff and the State S4, and you're gonna brief them in 2 days. And I was
Wow.
like, what?
Jeez.
My two lieutenants look at me, and I watch them die inside. They're like, I thought we were done, ma'am.
Yeah.
You said we just had to present this to the commander, and I'm like, guys, I want you to look at me, and I need you to know this is called suffering from success.
Mm-hmm.
That's
100%.
what this is. We did so well, we have to do it again and better now. So then we had to take everything we put on the whiteboard, put it in a PowerPoint presentation, tweak it a little, and then we had to present it to the state S4. The Joint Chief of Staff was at least not able to make it, so we didn't have to see him.
Okay.
Not that he's like a bad guy or anything, but it was like, ah.
Yeah, a little less pressure, a little pressure off after
So
everything.
we briefed the four, and we also briefed the XO for the 155, which is the brigade that this was all about.
Okay.
So they were both there, and they liked the plan. Obviously they poked some holes in it, which we expected, because it wasn't a perfect plan. It's just you
Right.
got one captain and two lieutenants, like, and we were stressed out. We were doing our best, but it obviously wasn't perfect. We did
Mm-hmm.
a lot of research, did a lot of cool things. They did like the plan, and they did end up putting it partially, at least I believe, into action to try to see how. Like they said, we gave them a great foundation,
To
and
build.
maybe they were just saying that to make us feel good. I don't know, but that's what they told us.
No, I'm sure you gave them actionable advice based off of, your research. I'm sure getting the separate set of eyes is worthwhile for them because I would imagine, the brigade commander deals with the same operational readiness headaches every single day. And so getting a second set of eyes or other people to lend their perspective is probably helpful. And whether they use 100% of that plan or not, it's at least a different lens. So that's a really cool story. So much of National Guard, it's usually, oh, we didn't get to do anything cool this drill. So but that was something that was actionable and could have an impact on the operational readiness of the state. And operational readiness, just, I know it and you know it because that's the big thing. But just so everybody else knows, that's like how ready you are. And if you're not ready as the Army, you're not really, you're not as worthwhile. You're not as helpful. So good stuff. Okay. The other thing I did want to talk about before we wrap up, I wanted to ask you about your work with IPPW. What does that look like and what do you guys do over there?
Sure. So, my full-time job, I'm a federal technician, Title 32, so I go to work in my uniform. I work in IPPW, like you said, which is the Integrated Primary Prevention Workforce. So the thing I like to tell people to kind of like when they get confused about what we do, I'm like, oh, think of us like we're the before, not the after for bad things. So like the DEOX survey that goes out every year, sometimes people call it a command climate survey.
Hmm.
It's really long, takes like 30 minutes. Everybody hates it. They all complain, and it's you always have to remind them again and again to take it.
Hmm.
We're actually in DEOX season right now, and they had to extend it due to the government shutdown. Ours has now been extended until January.
Nice.
So once we get all the results back from those DEOX surveys, we do data analysis on them and we look for trends over time throughout the years in different categories. So we're looking for things like a higher risk for suicide, a higher risk for sexual assaults, things of that nature. We look for your levels of connectedness, which would be a good thing. So we have what we call risk factors and protective factors. Risk factors, bad things, protective factors, good things. So it's not like we're just looking at like, oh, everything's terrible. Like
Right.
we look for good stuff too. Like, hey, you guys are like, they feel really accepted here and like they belong. And we
Hmm.
can tell you that. So we take that data, we put into a nice PowerPoint, and then my boss, because he's got more rank on his chest than the rest of us, gets to go to those battalion commanders, brigade commanders, and be like, hey, this is what your results look like. You might want to work on that, basically. And then we offer ways that we can work with them to either increase their protective factors or lower their risk factors. Like we can do trainings, we host events, we teach, like all kinds of things that we can do to
Nice.
try to help out. That's our main shtick. Like our real big thing for us personally is the DEOX survey. But we do
Gotcha.
other stuff too.
And you're not reactive. You're not responding to the DEOC survey. You're looking at the results over time and seeing if you can predict how to skew those in the right direction moving forward.
Kinda, yeah. So we're just looking for ways that we can intervene before problems can occur because we see that you're at a high risk for something potentially happening. But if you were to call my office, and I've had people call before and they're like, hey, I've got a alcohol problem. I'm like, okay, let me send you to someone who can help you with that. And I'll find
Hmm.
the phone number and I'll give it to them. I'm like, we don't help you with that, but I will give you the phone number so that you can find that help.
Hmm.
But we're
Yeah,
not
you're a
the
resource
reactive.
connector. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Still a resource connector, but yeah, that's not your lane. I gotcha. Cool. Well, that's great. That sounds like a really cool job, and it's definitely something that's for, making the army a better place. So that's great. Was there anything else that you wanted to cover today? Anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, I think it's been a good talk. I've enjoyed speaking with you today.
Hey, likewise. It was great having you on. I wanted to ask if people wanted to reach out, how can they get in touch with you?
Sure. So, I have a desk phone number that you can reach me at pretty easily. No one ever calls, so give me a call if you want. If you especially have any questions about IPPW, that phone number would be 601-313-6608, and that goes to my desk for IPPW in the state of Mississippi, if that's a resource you need.
Perfect, perfect. Well, Captain Scroggins, thank you so much. I'll make sure to put your phone number in the show notes as well. But it was a pleasure, and it was great to see you again. Thank you.
Thank you.